As the old saying goes, you will be planning to fail if you fail to plan. That's right, and hopefully in this video I'll help you how to plan successfully. Are you ready to start planning for 2024 or any year, depending on when you're watching this video? Well, you've come to the right place, where in this video I'll be talking you through how I am planning next year, and also how I planned the year that has just passed, which has been one of my most amazing years of running history, all through good planning. So let's go. Yes, a warm welcome. My name is Donato, aka Chatty Adventures, Running Guru, all sorts of stuff. This is going to be a plain, simple, straightforward, maybe hard truth for some people, but the truth of how I go about and what I've done, because I'm aiming it to a number of people. Who is this video for? Well, it's for people who want to take their running a bit more seriously, have some really hardcore goals they want to achieve, but also it's for people who want to have more fun with their running. Yes, you might have some races you want to book. Do you just go ahead and book everything without thinking? Well, that's what I'm going to go through in this video. How I plan my races, what races I book ahead of time, what races I book literally last minute, and how I go about my year and also long-term planning. Makes sense? Well, stick along to the very end, where I'll be sharing you a golden nugget that you can add in at any time, whatever time of year you are planning. One of the key things why I am doing this is because I want to share with you what I've done in this past year and other years, not just in running, but also in my day life, job, works, businesses, and so on, because I've had a pretty standout year, if I must say so myself, for 2023. Also, 2022 was a standout year as well. Can you see a bit of a pattern? As I mentioned earlier, I've had a pretty standout year this year in 2023. Starting off on the 2nd of January, winning my age category in a 10k England Masters qualifier, qualifying me to run in the Chester 10k as an England Master International Challenge competition against the Welsh Masters on that particular occasion. I also went on to run Manchester Marathon in my fastest time ever at the age of 61 in a time of 3 hours and 2 minutes, qualifying me for England Masters marathon distance. And then I subsequently went and qualified for the 10k and half marathon distances at England Masters for next year, 2024. In addition to all of that, for those of you who've been following my channel regularly will know that I got injured in the summer. So I've successfully planned and gone through rehab, and I'm now back running. Not at full fitness, but I went on to last week winning my first race age category in the Croom Capability Canter race, which was an off-road race, and it was damn muddy, wet and cold. But it was so good to be back running, racing, as I say, not at my full fitness, but able to get back winning. So I'm back into my winning ways. The other reason why I believe I can help you guys and share my knowledge with you also is I have over 4 decades of professional experience working in a number of sectors, primarily change management, project work, project planning and project management, where I currently work on a professional basis teaching project management, as well as working across the board in both in voluntary sectors and professional sectors in terms of what I do. So I have a lot to share with you guys, yeah? So stick along, listen to how I go through, and hopefully it'll help you guys. But leave it in the comments below what your takeaway from this particular video is, and I'd love to hear from you. And also where you're from and what time of year you are watching this, listening to this. And you can always come back and re-watch this anytime where you feel you're going a bit off plan and you want to get back on plan. So hopefully it can help you do that as well. So the who and why, I guess, can be summed up in a number of ways, because it's not just about watching this once and that's it, it's one and done. You can watch this time and time again at any time of year, re-watch it, especially if you feel like you're going off plan or things are going a bit skew with or not to plan, to get back on board. As the old saying goes, you will be planning to fail if you fail to plan. That's right, and hopefully in this video I'll help you how to plan successfully. So the first thing that I look at when I'm planning the year is I look at what is my goal for that particular year. So I have a key goal, a key race, what I call an A race. So I'll use marathon racing as an example. It can be 10K, half marathons, 5Ks, whatever you want. But you'll target one race, that's right guys, one race throughout the year as your A race. Because when it comes to marathon racing, if you're going all out, guns blazing, and you want to perform the best, it will really take it out of you. In fact, once you've finished a race, you would have lost a lot of fitness and it takes a lot of time to recover. So we put in the calendar one A race. Now for me, I put in a spring marathon and an autumn marathon. For 2024, my target races are Manchester Marathon in spring and Berlin Marathon in autumn, towards the end of September. Manchester in April. Whilst I've literally just yesterday I had confirmation that I have a good for age for London, I'll accept that place, which is brilliant. Whether I take part in that event will be something that I'll need to consider. So that's the first thing I put into my calendar when my A races are. Got that? So that's plan number one. What your goal is and what your A races are. Number two, I then start penciling in my plans, whether it be 12-week training plan, 16-week training plan, and see how that plan pans out. And within that plan, there'll be some key workouts where there might be a 10K effort, or there might be a 13-mile effort. Can you see where this is going? I then use races, 10K races and half marathon races as what I call C races to tune up. So I'm not going to be going for any PBs. I'll be using those races to train my body to get used to running at marathon pace. And you recall that this year I used the Hereford 10-mile race, where on that day I had, I think at the time it was 17 miles, I was 16 or 17 mile training run, and 10 of those miles was at marathon pace, or was it 8 miles? Basically the long and the short of it is I had a run beforehand at easy pace, then the first couple of miles of the 10-mile race was easy, and then I picked up and ran the rest of the 8 miles of the 10-mile race at marathon effort. So I wasn't racing it as a 10-mile race, by no means. I was running it as marathon training, which is what I call my C training races, yeah? And also by taking part in these races, it helps alleviate the stress and the worries when it comes to my A race, because being in amongst athletes, running and racing with them, that's all part and parcel of the planning. Make sense? Number three, you may not be having any targets or goals, you just run for fun. So by all means, just book whatever races you want to do. And the way I plan that is that I look at, where do I want to travel to? What parts of the country here in the UK, whilst I do some travelling overseas, I look at where in the UK do I want to go. So I then look at some races that are going on in those areas. For example, I've booked the Dewsbury 10K in West Yorkshire because I plan on being in around West Yorkshire towards the end of January, beginning of February. So I thought this is a great 10K race. I've never been to Dewsbury in West Yorkshire, so I'll go there, do the race, and also do a bit of sightseeing, catch up with some friends out there and have a great time. So booking in how you do it, a bit like, if you understand, parkrun tourism. We go to various parkruns because we want to go touristing around those particular areas, not specifically that parkrun, but in terms of the area. Does that make sense? So that's number three, having fun, book your races. Yeah. Number four, it's crucial that if you're going to book events, to keep an eye out. There are events that are now selling out within a couple of days. There's a lot of events that sell out literally within, or pre-lockdown, they used to sell out within minutes of going live. Now I think some of them take a couple of days or weeks, but do sell out long before. So keep an eye out for those and book those early. That's number four. Number five, I also plan on budget. Yeah, because I only have a certain amount of budget in terms of where I'm traveling, where I can stay, the costs, not only for race entry, but also the travel up to the event and where I'm staying. So that is part of the logistics as well. So looking at the whole thing as a whole. Does that make sense? Hopefully, on those 5 points that I've covered, they can help you plan 2024 going ahead. But for me, I tend to look at my plans, and I do coach a number of athletes where we've got races coming up in February, April, March. That planning started months ago, yeah, because it is long term. So whilst a year may seem a long time, when it comes to marathon training or training to get new personal bests at 10K and half marathon, it can take years of planning, but getting the basics and fundamentals in, it's essential. Now, as you've stayed to the very, very end, I did say there's some few things that you could kick in short term and throw in as and when, depending on how things are panning out. So whilst it's great to plan out a whole year, there are some things you can throw in last minute, which is what I did this year. What I'd done after finishing Manchester Marathon, whilst I turned up and finished London Marathon, which was really difficult, I'd already been planning my 10K and half marathon England Masters qualifying races, and I'd spoken with some professional coaches, and the key thing for me is, could I recover in time? So the nugget there is, if you feel that you can recover in time in a number of weeks before another race that you might want to attend, then by all means book those last minute, because a lot of these big city races, they always have places last minute. It may be a higher cost, higher price to enter, but for me, I entered the Bristol 10K and the Manchester half marathon, both sort of last minute. And it's essential, if you are planning to do certain races, that you have the shorter race before the longer race. Makes sense? So if you've got a 10K race and your key race is a 5K run, you want to make sure that the 5K is before the 10K, and the same way that the 10K is before your half marathon. And if they are only a week apart or 2 weeks apart, it's essential that you allow enough time to recover, because obviously if we don't allow enough time to recover, it adds to the risk of injury. And we don't want to do that, do we? Yeah, do that. Yes. Thanks for watching all the way to the very end. I hope you found this useful. If you have, please do share it amongst your friends and family. And I look forward to seeing how you get on in 2024, or whatever year you're watching this and planning for in the future. Leave it in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. My name's been Donato. I love running, and I hope you do too. Bye 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 bye.